Hello everybody, it's Sarah, and today I'm here with this week's Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday was created by Lainey from Ginger Reads Lainey, and as always I'll leave the link to her channel as well as the Goodreads group in the description. Ever since I read the topics for November, I have been looking forward to this topic, and that's because this week it's the top 5 books that we're thankful for. And I think I recorded this a few times already, but you know, if there's something that's really important to you, you kinda can't find the words to express it, and it just gets really confusing and everything. And that's what happened to me time and time again. So I'll try one more time and let's see if it's as confusing as the other ones. First of all, I want to say that I'm thankful for each and every book that I have ever read or that I will ever read. And that's because I think, like my channel says, reading is a little bit like traveling. And like with traveling, reading changes you. So each and every book that I have read, whether I like them or I dislike them, I feel that they have changed me in some small way, even if I didn't notice it. And so I wouldn't be the person I am today if I hadn't read all the books that I have read. Let's get into my 5 books. Those are mostly in no particular order except for the number 1 spot. Let's start with this book. It's Fourth Saga by T5WBooks I. I'm not sure if this has been translated into English. It's by a German author. Basically, it's a children's book about a small pack of wolves living peacefully until one day there's one wolf that wants to unite all the other wolves into one big pack, and will do so by forcing them. Of course, it's a children's book, but I recently reread this and there's a lot of political, social messages in this book as well, which is why I still love it. The very specific reason why I'm thankful for this book is because this is the first book that ever made me cry. I read this book, I was I think 8 years old or something, and I didn't know what was going on, why I was suddenly crying. And my mother didn't say, "Come on, Sarah, get over it, it's just a story," but she told me that it was okay and that sometimes stories aren't just stories, but that stories touch us. And so I just connect this book with this instance, and also I connect this book with just showing me how important stories can be and how they can change us, and that they really become a part of us. Next, I have Sophie's World, a novel about the history of philosophy by Jostein Gaarder, who is a Norwegian author. I'm sure I pronounced his name wrong. And this book is about the girl, Sophie, who one day is sent envelopes with questions like, "Who are you? What is the world?" She starts this philosophy course with a teacher whom she doesn't know. And it's, like the subtitle says, it's a novel about the history of philosophy. And I also read this when I was about 8 or 9. And this book is really one of the books that started my thirst for knowledge. And it just influenced my thinking about the world. Next, I have Incurred by Cornelia Funke. And this is really what started my passion for reading and for books. For those of you who don't know, Incurred is about a girl named Maggie, and her father Mo has the ability when he reads aloud, he can read characters out of books and also people into books. I really think that this book is just an homage to reading and to books. It's so amazing, and I always read a lot, but when I first read this book, it really made me notice how awesome reading is, and after that I started reading passionately, and that's why I'm thankful for this book. Next I have The Chronicles of the Emerged World by Licia Troisi, who is an Italian author. This is the book that made me fall in love with fantasy. It's about a girl, Nihal, who is the last survivor of her race, and all the countries of the emerged world are threatened by a tyrant. Her father is killed and she wants vengeance, which is why she tries to become a dragon rider. Before I read this book, I mostly read fantasy books with male leads. I read the Charlie Bone series by Jenny Nimmo, I think the author is. I read Harry Potter, I read Aragon, and of course there are strong female characters that I love. There is Hermione, there is Arya that I still liked back then, but there was never a female lead, a strong female lead, and I was really frustrated with that, because even the female sidekicks like Hermione, I never felt that they were as cool as Harry Potter, at least not back then. I was, I think, 11 when I read this book. And then I read this book and there was just this kick-ass female protagonist who is strong, who knows how to fight with the sword, and I was blown away. And so that's also one of the reasons why I'm thankful for this book. Now I actually prefer it if strong females aren't portrayed as manly, like she is, for example. But back then I just loved it. So I think most of you will know what the last book in this video is, because it's of course my favorite book / series of all time, and that's the Black Jewels trilogy series by Anne Bishop. And I first read this when I was 12 years old. I wouldn't recommend it because there is some rape and abuse in this book, which I didn't know when I started it. Why I'm still thankful for this book is because when I was around 12 years old, of course, I started getting into puberty, which is always a difficult time in the life of everybody. But even apart from puberty, when I was around 12 years old, it was one of the hardest times in my life up until now. And this book really helped me get through this time. One thing that I really learned from this book, which is why I think it would be a really good book for children growing up if there weren't the rape and abuse, is that I learned just to be myself. And those people who can't accept me as I am, they can go and fuck themselves. Because those people who are important to me and to my life will accept me as I am. I really don't know how to, it's just there's so many feelings connected to this book that I can't even describe it. And if I ever am lucky enough to meet Anne Bishop, I would just want to tell her thank you, because this book just really, really, really helped me a lot. I hope this really wasn't too confusing, and I hope that you could tell how important all of those books are to me, still are to me. And yeah, tell me what books you are thankful for, what books changed your life. and I hope I'll see you soon. Kiss kiss!